One morning, people arrive at your village. Not soldiers, not invaders. Priests, officials, messengers from the most powerful empire in South America. And they've come for you. Your parents don't cry. They don't hide you. They don't run. Instead, they celebrate. Because being chosen is considered the greatest honor imaginable. You will travel across mountains, across deserts, across an empire stretching thousands of kilometers. And at the end of that journey, you will die. Not as punishment, not as a criminal, not because you've done anything wrong, but because the gods supposedly want you. Tonight, we are continuing 7 nights of forbidden rituals. And unlike many of the rituals we've covered so far, this one is not an urban legend. It isn't a creepypasta. It isn't something people claimed happened online. This ritual was real. Historians documented it. Archaeologists found the bodies. And the evidence is still preserved today. This is the story of CAPACOCHA, the most important sacrificial ritual of the Inca Empire. Welcome to the podcast you can't unhear. In 1999, archaeologists made a discovery high in the Andes Mountains of Argentina. More than 6,700 meters above sea level, higher than most people will ever climb. Buried beneath ice and snow, they found 3 children. A girl around 15 years old, a boy around 7, and a younger girl around 6. At first glance, they looked asleep. Not skeletal, not decomposed. As though they had simply closed their eyes a few days earlier. The freezing temperatures had preserved them so perfectly that researchers could still see their hair, their skin, their facial expressions. For over 500 years, these children had remained frozen in time. Today they're known as the children of Yulayako, among the best preserved mummies ever discovered. But the question wasn't how they died. The question was, why? To understand that, we need to go back to the Inca Empire. Most people know the Incas because of Machu Picchu, or because of their dramatic collapse when Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century. But before that collapse, the Incas controlled one of the largest empires in human history. At its peak, it stretched across modern-day Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, and parts of Colombia. Nearly 2 million square kilometers. Connected by roads, bridges, messengers, and one highly organized government. At the center of everything stood the emperor, the Sapa Inca. Not merely a king, but believed to be the living son of the sun god Inti. Religion wasn't separate from politics. It was politics. And few rituals were more important than CAPACOCHA. CAPACOCHA usually occurred after major events. A new emperor taking power, the birth of an heir, a devastating earthquake, a drought, a volcanic eruption, military victories. Moments when the empire believed the gods needed to be honored or appeased. And for that, the Incas required something precious. Children. Not just any children. The most beautiful, the healthiest, the most physically perfect. Children without scars, without deformities, without visible flaws. Some accounts even describe candidates being rejected over tiny imperfections. The chosen children often came from noble families or respected communities. And strangely enough, many families viewed the selection as a blessing. Imagine hearing that your child had been personally chosen by representatives of the emperor himself. In Inca society, this could bring prestige, status, honor, even political favors. One famous example involved a girl named Tanta Karhua. Her community offered her as a sacrifice, and in return, they received a valuable irrigation project. To modern ears, that sounds horrifying. But within the belief system of the time, it was seen as sacred. The children were not viewed as victims. They were viewed as gifts, messengers to the gods. The ritual often began in Cusco, the heart of the empire. Families travelled enormous distances, bringing offerings, gold, silver, textiles, llamas. There would be ceremonies, prayers, processions. And then, the children began their final journey. Some travelled hundreds of kilometres, others travelled thousands. Across mountains, across deserts, across freezing terrain, towards sacred peaks believed to be closer to the gods. And this is where the story becomes difficult. Because for centuries, people imagined these children willingly accepting their fate. Then scientists studied the mummies, and the evidence told a different story. Researchers examined hair samples, blood chemistry, stomach contents, even traces preserved within the children's bodies. What they found was fascinating and heartbreaking. Months before death, their diets improved dramatically. They began receiving better food, more meat, more maize. Higher status meals usually reserved for elites, almost as though they were being prepared, honoured, or fattened for sacrifice. Researchers also discovered evidence of coca leaves and alcohol consumption, substances capable of calming fear, reducing resistance, and making children easier to manage. One of the children appeared heavily sedated before death. The 15-year-old girl, known as the Maiden, was found sitting peacefully, head lowered, as if she had fallen asleep. She likely never woke up. Others weren't so fortunate. Across the empire, different CAPACOCHA sites revealed different methods. Some children were strangled. Some suffered blunt force trauma. Some appear to have been buried alive. Imagine that. The highest mountain you've ever seen. Snow falling around you. The air too thin to breathe comfortably. And your final moments taking place in complete silence. Thousands of meters above the rest of humanity. Alone. For the Incas, these mountain summits weren't just locations. They were sacred beings, living entities, powerful spirits watching over the empire. The children were offerings meant to strengthen the relationship between humans and gods. And in a strange way, the ritual worked politically too. CAPACOCHA reminded distant communities who controlled the empire. It reinforced the authority of Cusco, connected faraway regions through shared religious beliefs, and helped unify millions of people under one system. To the Incas, this wasn't cruelty. It was duty. Which raises an uncomfortable question. How many things throughout history have people justified because they believed they were doing the right thing? How many terrible acts have been committed in the name of faith? Of tradition? Of something greater? Because the people conducting CAPACOCHA likely didn't see themselves as villains. They saw themselves as serving the gods. And that's what makes this ritual so disturbing. Not the mountains, not the mummies, not even the sacrifices, but the certainty. The absolute certainty that this was necessary. The Inca Empire eventually fell after Spanish conquest in the 1500s. Its cities were abandoned, its traditions suppressed, its rulers erased. But high above the Andes, the children remained. Frozen, waiting. 5 centuries later, they finally told their story. A story of faith, power, tradition, and sacrifice. The next time you hear the phrase, "for the greater good," remember this. Because history has shown us that some of the darkest things humans have ever done were done while believing they were doing something sacred. Sleep tight, and I'll see you tomorrow night for another episode of 7 Nights of Forbidden Rituals. Only on the podcast you can't unhear.